What is up, you guys? It's Joelle and welcome back to my channel. You clicked on this video. You're probably wondering how to get into Dartmouth. I put off making a video like this for a long time because I didn't ever want to send the message that there is a formula for getting into your dream school. But I realized that I do love sharing whatever wisdom I have with you guys, and as I'm super passionate about my school and just education in general, and I love posting videos about my school, I figured I owed it to you guys. Just share everything that I did, that I threw into my application to get into my dream school. Additionally, if you're not sure where you'd like to apply for school and if you'd like to learn more about Dartmouth, I have a ton of Dartmouth related videos. I have a Dartmouth playlist here on my YouTube channel, and you can check those out, and I'll have a few just linked in the cards. And for those of you guys who have been following me, you know that I am currently on a gap year, which is why there haven't been as many Dartmouth related videos recently, but I'm going back there in the fall. So if you'd like to see more videos from when I go back to Dartmouth, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the J team, where no one is a bench warmer, everyone's a playmaker, and you can just join the fam. An essential shout out that I have to make is to Goodwall app for collaborating with me on this video. They are an amazing application startup that has created a social network sort of for students in particular, high school and college age, to share their experiences and their accomplishments, and to bring people together to celebrate each other's victories, and also to network you with colleges if you're applying to college. If you'd like to get connected with the colleges accounts themselves, they have a platform for you to do that. And Goodwall recently revamped their app, so I just want to show you what it's like now. So they recently used to have a little app that looked like a penguin, and now it's this cool modern G mountain shape. When you open your feed, it looks something like this, where you get to have people's accomplishments laid out. I'm just here on my phone, and you can like them, you can say congrats, you can look at the amazing things that students around the world are doing. You can follow them, you can comment. I really love that it fosters a sense of community and celebrating each other's victories rather than seeing each other as competitors. So you can see here there's a universities panel. Obviously, I haven't really made myself available to that since I'm already in college, but you can look at different colleges, add them to your favorites, and network with them. There are also chats where you can meet people who have similar interests as you. And then here's my profile. I'm a Goodwall influencer, so that has not yet been updated on my profile, but that just means that I host Q&As. I will every now and then do an Instagram takeover or whatever. So if you want to follow my Instagram and their Instagram, you can hit us up. And if you have the app, feel free to follow me. And I like to just post my experiences, whether it's posting a video, hitting 4,000 subscribers, street soul and tennis, and just a lot of the things that I enjoy doing. Sheba Light and all of that. I just can share what I love with people here on Goodwall. Also have my little resume. It's different from your conventional resume, but it just has a little bit more info about myself. So I'm just gonna show you guys really quick what it looks like to add an experience to my profile. So really quick, you need a picture. So I'm gonna take a picture of you guys right now. And then I'm gonna head back over to my app, click the little plus sign and add my photo, go to continue and title my experience. Now I can describe my experience and sort of elaborate. And then this is a cool new feature where you can select skills that are relevant to this experience. So I'm gonna put things like cinematography, why not? Creativity, media, videography. We'll just say that. Where was it? Location doesn't really matter. And then when was it? We're just gonna find today, which is the 11th. Now we're just gonna post to Goodwall. Yeah, you get my little confetti, and you can share on other social medias or just let it pop up on your experiences. And here it is. That was kind of a nasty looking photo, but there it is, just to show you guys what it's like on Goodwall. If you would like to follow me, please feel free to do so on Goodwall, and then we can share our experiences and I can follow you guys back. You can comment on any of my photos saying that you found me from YouTube. And then additionally, if you have any other questions, when I do Q&As on Goodwall, it's a really good time to ask questions about college and YouTube, gap years, anything like that. So I just highly encourage you guys to take advantage. It's been a really awesome experience to work with them. They're a group of amazing people. An important thing before I get started is I just want to say congrats and welcome to anyone in the class of 22. Yo, you guys are about to enter an amazing family at Dartmouth, and I just want to personally say welcome. I know that admissions are coming out soon, but that the early decision class has of course already been accepted, so just want to say welcome, and that's awesome. You have an amazing, crazy journey ahead of you, but it is going to be so good. But now into what you guys are really here for, which is Dartmouth college applications. How do you do all of that? Okay, so I have my laptop and my notes. Let's get into this. Just to start off with some really quick stats about Dartmouth. I'm gonna look at class of 2019, which was my proud class. And so I applied early decision. So I was one of the 1,856 students who applied ED, and I was one of the 482 that was admitted ED. And ED means that when you apply early decision, you gotta go. You have no choice, you're contracted in. And if you really know that you wanna go to a school, that is a good option because you kind of get first round pick. But overall, there were 20,507 applicants and 2,250 admitted. So the overall admit rate was around 11%, and there ended up being 1,116 students in my class. So that just gives you a general idea of where Dartmouth falls. It's one of the Ivies, but it's not the scariest Ivy to apply to. I think UPenn and other schools like that, it's like an 8% acceptance rate, and I'm pretty sure when I looked at Stanford, it was like a hefty 6% acceptance rate, and I was like, So just for some background on me, things you should know is that I was a legacy. My mother went to Dartmouth, my father went to Tuck, their business school, and that's where they met. Praise the Lord. And my older sister was a 17. So for those of you guys who are freaking out like, of course this girl got in, she has a legacy, blah, blah, blah. No, there's so many legacies who don't get in. And there are those horror stories of parents writing angry emails to Dartmouth being like, why didn't my student get in? And of course there's always going to be an upper hand for a legacy. I'm not gonna deny that. But what that really means is that instead of having just one person read over your application first round, you get two people to read over your application first round. And that just gives you a better chance of someone being like, oh, this might be someone that we can consider, rather than just an immediate no by one person. Honestly, to be real, with most of these schools, if you're a legacy but your family does not donate a hefty sum to the school, it don't make much of a difference. Some other things that are good to know is that I had a college admissions advisor, counselor, one at my school and one outside of my school that my mother knew. And I also had an SAT tutor. And these things were very helpful for me, primarily for editing essays and then for figuring out which schools to apply to. Of course, another thing I want to emphasize is that your college does not define you. I just need to put this out there like right now that your college does not say anything about your quality of a person or like your overall intelligence, because there's so many things that a college looks at. Please, please, please do not ever tie your identity to the school you go to, because honestly, also, the schools that you get into, there are always gonna be problems that you see in them, and when you go, you're gonna realize that it was not like this dreamland that you imagined. I know it sounds really cynical, but I just want to be real with you guys that like you are so much more than your college and that you really have the power to make or break your experience. So just with all this talking about college, I just want to make sure that that's emphasized. A large reason for this is that when colleges are looking at their applicant pool, they're not looking at each individual, but they're looking at the class as a whole. So they're trying to find the most well-rounded class that they can. And that goes to say that you do not need to be good at everything. In fact, you should not be good at everything because that's impossible. Find the things that you are passionate about, that you love, and then like go deep. It speaks so much more to someone when you can talk about in an interview or write an essay on something that you're really knowledgeable about that you can bring to your community that no one else can. So anyways, after my little spiels, I'm just gonna break down into different categories, parts of my application that I'm gonna talk about. Starting off with grades, because that's something that I get asked about a lot. Of course, everyone's like, oh, I have to be valedictorian or whatever. I was not. I think I was in the top 10, 15% of my class. So I had decent grades, like A's, A minuses, a couple B pluses, like freshman year English. It was a struggle, but it was fine. And that is to say also that colleges are not 100% dependent on numbers. There's plenty of valedictorians that are rejected from these schools. In terms of test scores though, I did the SAT, not the ACT, and that was the old SAT. It was when it was still out of a 2400 scale. I will say that I scored around in the 99th percentile. I took it twice, I think, but before that took a ridiculous amount of practice tests, like literally once a week for like months, because practice really makes the SAT so much easier, because it's not how smart you are that it's testing at all. It is a strategy test, and once you understand the strategy of the SAT, you got it, you nailed it. I think typically they say, looking at Dartmouth's numbers, that if you score around 700 on each section or above, that kind of puts you in the pool where it's kind of indifferent, and it's kind of like, you're smart, you know how to solve problems, we're just gonna put you in this pool. For things like interview, I did do an interview because I'm in a major city where there's lots of Dartmouth alums. Not everyone gets an interview depending on who's available to give them, but my interviewer was a really sweet guy. He was younger. I think he was a class of 2013, so he had pretty recently graduated when I was applying, and he was just really awesome and super chill. I was able to just talk about what I'm interested in and like ask a few questions, though I already knew a decent amount about the school from my parents and my sister. One thing that did help with this is that I had visited multiple times for my mother's reunions at Dartmouth, and then also I did college tours, and I took the tour and visited my sister. She took me to frats and like all of that sort of classic college tour sort of thing. And that gave me some stuff to talk about. But however, if you are not able to visit the school, do not worry, because there are lots of applicants who are also in that situation. So that's why I'd use resources like YouTube, websites like Campus Reel, and they have a lot of campus tour videos specifically for people who can't visit college campuses. So don't feel like you have to miss out. I'll put the links for those down below. Next, getting into things like essays. When I was applying, Dartmouth just took the Common App with a couple of supplements and something called the peer recommendation letter, which is not very normal at all. So for Common App, I wrote the same thing to all of the Common App schools, and I wrote about you guys. I wrote about YouTube and how YouTube has taught me about identity and sharing wisdom and knowledge and creating community and using this new platform to break stereotypes. So that was a lot of fun, and it took me so many iterations to write, you guys. I am not a writer, I'm a talker. So my parents are so discouraged when they read my Common App essay, and they're just like, oh my gosh, Joelle, you suck at writing. And it made me so sad, and I just had to write like drafts on drafts on drafts. There was one supplement for Dartmouth that I wrote, and it was I think it was like a generic kind of thing. It's like something you want to tell us about yourself. I believe this is the one that I sent in. It is a really gutsy essay about faith, like my religion, and how it's previously felt like something that isolated me, and how I turned that into something that built community and identity for myself. And applying to a non-Christian school with that kind of essay can be a little bit of a risk, a little bit of a gamble, but again, share what makes you you, because at the end of the day, like, that's what you're contributing to the college, and they're looking for students who can contribute something that they really have conviction about. So worked out for me. And then lastly, the peer rec. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the peer rec. It was after the deadline for it, when I was just like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot about this. And I hit up my sister, Micah, who's at Dartmouth, and I was like, can you please write me a peer recommendation? And of course, she's my sister, and she wrote me an amazing recommendation as like one of my best friends as well. So that was really sweet, and she was able to email it to the director of admissions for the Bay Area, who I had met because he visited my high school. So it was really, really great to have that kind of personal connection where he knew who I was, because I was the only one who was really interested at Dartmouth from my high school. Again, key, because they're looking for a well-rounded class. Micah literally pulled me through, you guys. But lastly, we're gonna look at extracurriculars. And guys, this is a thing that I was bomb at. I killed the extracurricular game because I pursued my passions. I never did something because I felt like it was gonna get me somewhere. And because of that, I think it's pretty apparent that there are certain focuses that I really enjoyed, and I pursued those. So I was on student council for all 4 years of my high school experience. I was a freshman rep my freshman year, community networker, vice president my junior year, and president my senior year. Again, you guys don't have to be discouraged that like, oh my gosh, I'm not my school president, I'm not gonna get into Dartmouth, because there are so many other things that you can be passionate about and pursue. I was passionate about leadership, so that was something that I really enjoyed, and it kind of like permeated throughout a lot of my extracurriculars, whether it was being like a captain on my tennis team or choreographing from my high school's dance group and stuff like that, just demonstrating leadership in different ways, whether it's creatively or in admin. It also provided the opportunity for me to go to Student Diversity Leadership Conference, which is a conference for all independent high schools to send students to learn about identity and leadership with inclusivity and the intersectionality of different parts of our identities, which was amazing, and I loved it, and I was able to talk about that in my supplement, and it really just taught me so much about social justice and what leadership really looked like. Student council, I think, also gave me a really good relationship with the administration and faculty at my high school, so that was great for the recommendation letters. I think we had 2 teacher recs, and then I had 1 supplemental recommendation letter from my student council advisor who I'd worked with throughout my high school experience. But on top of that, I really just loved like being creative and expressive. So whether that's in dance or in YouTube and film, I was able to talk about those. So I felt like my extracurriculars kind of fell into 2 different things, whether it was leadership or media sort of stuff. And then with that was my faith. And that kind of permeates into both of those things. So with all that, just sharing how I got into Dartmouth, at least from what I believe, that is everything that I kind of put on the table. So I just wanted to close out, I guess, again with reiterating how your school does not make you who you are, you make your school. You guys have amazing futures ahead of you wherever you end up, whether it's at Dartmouth, which I would love because it's a great place, or somewhere else, because I know that Dartmouth is not the school for everybody. And wherever you go, there will be amazing people and opportunities to be able to grow and present the world with what you have to offer. So with that, I just want to say thank you again to Goodwall, and thank you guys so much for watching and hearing what I have to say. And I hope this video was able to be helpful for you. And if you have not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so down below. And if you'd like to follow me on my social medias to see more about my life off of YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Those are always linked down below and just thrown right here for your convenience. I love you guys so much. Jesus loves you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.